Welcome everyone. So we will be discussing Indian contribution to science. This is a book which is compiled by Vigyan Bharati, and this is one of the chapters which is there for the VVM examination.
Chapter 19 Latest Achievements July 2016 onwards. ISRO set space records with successfully PSLV launch of Cartosat 2 and 103 other satellites. Indian Space Research Organization ISRO made India proud when it created a world record by launching 104 satellites in a single rocket. The satellites were launched from Sriharikota of Andhra Pradesh, and it has made India the first country to launch such a large number of satellites together. Indian Space Research Organization ISRO made India proud when it created a world record by launching 104 satellites in a single rocket. The satellites were launched from Sriharikota of Andhra Pradesh, and it has made India the first country to launch a single huge number of satellites together. India, apart from outdoing its own previous achievements, has also moved ahead of Russia by a long margin. Russia had held the record earlier for the most satellite launches in single mission, and the number was 37. Russia had achieved that feat in 2014. The record is followed by the US Space agency NASA, which had launched 29 satellites in a single mission. When ISRO had put its Earth's orbit 10 satellites of LVC-10 on June 2008, it had created a world record, but it was subsequently broken many times by Russians and American rockets. ISRO was commenced the 28-hour countdown for the launch on Tuesday, which was the shortest for the Polar satellite launch vehicle ever. The PSLV 37 is ISRO's workhorse, and on its 39th mission carried 104 satellites. The single mission launched in India's second attempt and the first time it had launched 23 satellites in one go. That mission was launched in June 2016, India's most powerful rocket in XL variant, which was used in momentous Chandrayaan and during the Mars Orbiter mission MOM, had been used by ISRO's in his launch too. The launch 100 satellites are foreign made, including some from the US, and rest of the three belong to India, which is itself is a big achievement. Earlier, ISRO had reportedly planned to launch 83 satellites by January end, but later 20 more were added. PM Modi's PET South Asian satellite project is scheduled to be launched in March 2017, and it will be a part of GSAT-9 that will be launched in March 2017. Meanwhile, Modi congratulated to the Space Organization for successful launch of PSLV-C-37 and Cartosat satellite together with 103 nanosatellites. This was ISRO's first space mission for the year 2017 and the most complicated mission it has ever carried out. Prime Minister Narendra Modi and President Pranab Mukherjee congratulated the space agency for the historic event that significantly boosts India's space program. The PSLV C-37 Cartosat 2 series satellite mission included the primary satellite Cartosat 2 and 101 international nanosatellites. It also launched two of its own nanosatellites, INS-1A and INS-1B. PSLV first launched the 714 kg Cartosat 2 series satellite for Earth observation, followed by INS-1A and INS-1B. After it reached the polar sun synchronous orbit, it then went on to inject 103 co-passenger satellites, together weighing about 664 kg in pairs. ISRO's drone helped to map disaster in Northeast. The Indian Space Research Organization ISRO is using drone to map disaster in the northeastern states by collecting land details and add it to the data from remote sensing satellites. In this regard, ISRO's Shillong-based Northeastern Space Application Center (NESSC) has tested unnamed aerial vehicles (UAVs) to map various problems and disasters. Key facts: NESSC has taken the initiative for design and assembling of UAVs for various applications to access several problems in northeast region. UAV can perform an efficient survey for disaster prone or physical inaccessible areas. It can undertake quick damage assessment of floods, landslides, and earthquakes and enable timely relief measures. These drones providing ground based details which are generally combined with data from ISRO remote sensing satellites. Recently, they were used to map the areas affected by landslides along with NH40, Meghalaya's lifeline. It also gave the extent of damage caused to the pest infected paddy fields in Narmari village of Assam. About Northeastern Space Application Center, that is NSAC, NESAC is a joint initiative of Department of Space and Northeastern Council. It was started in the year 2000. It was located in Umiam, which is near Shillong, Meghalaya. It aims to provide development support to the northeastern region using space technology, based communication and technology. Its mandate is to develop high technology infrastructure support to enable any states to adopt space technology for their development. NESAC provides developmental support by undertaking specific application projects using remote sensing, satellite communication, GIS, and conduct space science research. IISc researchers develop low-cost sensitive CO sensor. Indian Institute of Science IISc researchers from Bangalore have developed a highly sensible low-cost nanometer scale carbon monoxide sensor with potential application in environmental pollution monitoring. The sensor was developed using novel fabrication techniques that does not involve costly and time-consuming lithography technologies. Carbon monoxide. Carbon monoxide is a colorless, odorless gas. It is harmful when inhaled in large amounts. The greatest source of carbon monoxide is internally combustion, that is IC engines of cars, trucks, and other vehicles or machineries that burn fossil fuels. Breathing high concentration of CO reduces the amount of oxygen that can be transported in the bloodstream to critical organs like heart and brain. Key facts: the nanometer size sensor was made using zinc oxide, nanostructure of silicon wafer substrate. Tiny polystyrene beads were also used as wafer. The beads were first added on the oxidized silicon wafer arrange themselves into what is called hexagonal closed pack structure. Reasonable level of vacuum is maintained between the wafer and the beads. When a high voltage is applied, it etches away the surface of the beads until a gap of desired thickness is formed between adjacent beads. The zinc oxide is deposited on the system. This occupies the spaces between the beads, forming an honeycomb-like nanomesh that can function as a nanosensor. The significance: the nanometer scale of carbon monoxide sensor is able to detect a difference in carbon monoxide level as low as 500 parts per billion ppb. It can selectively respond to carbon monoxide even in the presence of other gases. It also significantly cuts down the time and cost involved in making nanostructured gas sensor. The next one we have as ISC scientists develop sensor to detect E. coli bacterium. A group of scientists of Indian Institute of Science ISC has successfully designed a sensor to detect the presence of harmful E. coli bacterium in food and drinking water. The sensor has been designed by the research team of Dr. Sai Shiva Gorthi and Professor Sundararajan Ashokan of Department of Instrumentation and Applied Physics and Robert Bosch Center for Cyber Physical Systems ISC. The sensor is designed using a photosensitive optical fiber and is also called a bare fiber Bragg grating, that is BFBG sensor, which is coated with antibodies specific to E. coli. When a beam of light comprising of band of wavelengths is passed through BFBG sensor, it reflects one particular wavelength of light. When exposed to a sample in which E. coli cells are present, the E. coli cells bind specifically to the sensor. Next, we have model to predict monsoon. Scientists of ISC have also proposed a new model to detect rainfall over localized land region in real time using satellite images. Dr. J. Indu and Professor D. Nagesh Kumar of Department of Civil Engineering ISC have developed the model from satellite microwave sensor data. Their work was recently published in hydrological science journals. The team carried out their research in Mahanadi Basin area, which is prone to large-scale flooding. Observation in such diverse region can be used to improve the existing algorithm to detect rainfall, according to the researchers. Next, we have captive flight trails of anti-radiation missile soon. Captive flight trails of advanced state-of-the-art anti-radiation missile, which is ARM, are planned for April-May this year, and the maiden flight test by the year end by the missile technologists of Defense Research and Development Organizations. The air-to-surface tactical missile being developed by DRDO, Defense Research and Development Laboratory, will target the enemy's air defense capability by attacking radars and communication facilities. The range of the missile is 100 to 125 km, and it will be mounted on the combat aircraft Sukhoi, that is Su-30, and Tejas light combat aircraft. The missile picks up the radiation of the signals of radars and communication facilities and homes on the target to destroy them. According to DRDO sources, scientists will evaluate the performance of the seeker, navigation and control system, structural capabilities, and aerodynamic vibrations during the captive flight trials. This will be followed by the ground testing, and the missile will be fired from Su-30 during the actual flight trial by year end. Instead of thrust propulsion, the missile uses dual pulse propulsion system, as in this case LR-SAM. The dual pulse propulsion will widen the envelope as well as the engagement capability of the missile. After coasting the missile for the required duration by firing the first pulse, the second pulse will be initiated just before interception of the target of during the terminal phase the sources added. The entire missile is being developed indigenously, including the seeker. The missile will be inducted in about 2 years after conducting a number of development trials. Only a few countries, including US and Germany, have arms at present. The sources added. The dual pulse propulsion system can be configured with other air to surface and air to air missiles, the sources added. Meanwhile, the induction of LR-SAM, that is long range surface to air missile, jointly developed by India and Israel, will begin September-October this year. It was successful test from INS Kolkata to intercept the aerial target last year, and the missile is slated to be launched from warship INS Kochi and INS Chennai for similar trials later this year. Next, we have science catches up with astrology. Planets cause quakes, says new study. Predicting quakes has always been an iffy science, but a group of Indian experts claims to have found a possible way out. They have come up with a list of earthquake sensitive dates for 2016 and even claim that their predicted quake dates for January have been validated. A study of Jagannathan Shoki Kalingam of the Birla Institute of Technology at Meshra in Ranchi and two co-authors found that there is very clear evidence of planetary configurations creating orbital perturbations on the Earth, which finally results in a quake. Motivated by astrology, Kokalingam and his team wanted to test whether there is any possible link between earthquakes and the planets. They started the observations seriously after 2014 tsunami, which killed thousands of people in India, Indonesia, and Sri Lanka, to understand planetary configurations and major earthquakes. The study was say gravitation interaction among the bigger planets such as Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, Neptune create invisible resultant gravity vector IRGV that act as an imperceptible planetary force when an inner planet crosses them. Whenever our Earth crosses the IRGVs, there invariably were major quakes. Other inner planetary crossings showed similar results as well, says the study published in the latest issue of International Journal of Advances in Remote Sensing, GIS, and Geography. Even simple two planetary alignments were checked out for their contributions to earthquake, the study said, adding that the researchers consequently identified a link between a particular planetary configuration and the earthquake. Overall, the explanations capabilities of each possible configuration were critically cross-checked, and we hope that the study will give a new dimension to the field of earthquakes, gravity analysis, and their predictions. Finally, the study predicted the sensitive day of 2016, and the researchers may validate our concepts and researchers results based on actual ground shaking, said Chukalingam. The authors visualize the solar system as a gravity lake having a lot of gravity waves, big and minor, just like ocean, and that every planet travel across these waves during its orbit and rotate round the sun just like ship traveling in the ocean. According to their assumptions, these gravity waves can increase and decrease spatially and temporally. All spatial locations of resultant gravity vector RGVs resulting from the combination of major planets were identified. The study revealed that wherever a planetary vector crosses the RGVs, a gravity ripple is created and it perturbs the Earth's orbital path and hence alters the movement pattern of the surface of the Earth as well as underground, the study said. Two new species of cycads discovered. Research conducted on Cycas shanae, a lone tree found in Acharya Jagadish Chandra Bose Indian Botanical Garden, West Bengal, has revealed two new species of cycads to the world. The discovery takes the total number of cycad species found in India to 14. Cycads? Cycads are one of the most ancient planets whose fossil dates to Jurassic period. They are often referred to a living fossil. They have evolved on the earth as the first seeded plants and they grew very slowly, added only a few centimeters every year. Nearly 65% of cycads are threatened. There are over 100 species of cycads found across the globe. Key facts: initial studies of the Ion Cycas shanae tree revealed that it was Cycas, a gymnosperm. Further research based on the anatomical and morphological characteristics led to the discovery of a new species of Cycas shanae and later Cycas dharmaraji in Andaman and Nicobar Islands. Cycas dharmaraji is characterized by abnormal branching habits of its giant trunk and its swollen base. It was well defined 10 to 28 hook like structures in the apex of megasporangial, which makes it distinct from other cycads found in the country. Sporophylls are spore bearing leaf like female sex organs of the plants. Sporophylls of Cycas fernandini are characterized by presence of two lateral horn-like structures. Next, we have Reliance Jio launches world's longest 100 Gbps submarine cable system. Mukesh Ambani led Reliance Jio Infocom has launched the Asia Africa Europe AAE-1 submarine cable system. It is claimed to the world's longest 100 gigabytes per technology based submarine system. It stretches for over 25,000 kilometers from Marseille, France to Hong Kong. It will have 21 cable landings across Asia and Europe. Using it, Geo will continue to offer its customers the most exceptional high speed internet and digital services experience. Key facts: the AAE1 project is a combination of leading telecom service providers from Europe, the Middle East, and Asia. It will seamlessly link with the other cable system and fiber networks to deliver direct access to all globe markets. It will feature diversified points of presence POP in Asia, Hong Kong, and Singapore, with three onward connectivity options in Europe, France, Italy, and Greece. The capable system will pass through critical hubs, serving the demand for video centric data bandwidth that supports all types of communication applications and content within India and beyond. The advanced design and route of AE1 system will offer one of the lowest latency routes between Hong Kong, India, Middle East, and Europe. Using it, Reliance Jio will provide the network operations and management for AE1 cable system. Its Network Operations Center NOC will use a state of art facility in Navi Mumbai. New terminologies in science and technology: Nirbhay, which is subsonic cruise missile. Nirbhay in India's equivalent to Tomahawk, a large range subsonic cruise missile developed by the US. This is developed by Defense Research and Developmental Organization DRDO, will travel at the subsonic speed less than the speed of the sound. NAG, fire and forget anti-tank missile. It can destroy enemy tanks 4 kilometers away. Namika, NAG missile carrier. It is a vehicle to carry and launch NAG missile. Helena, the helicopter fired version of NAG Helena, which is helicopter and NAG. Lahat, laser homing attack or laser homing anti-tank missile. Anti-tank missile will be used in the upgraded Arjun battle tanks. TRUPEX 2012 theater level readiness and operational exercise conducted by Indian Navy to test new platform weapon sensors, communication system, and tactics in order to optimize the network combat power of the fleet. Shurveer combat exercise in the Thar Desert in 2012 to test Army's operation readiness to undertake swift multiple thrusts across the border. Army and IAF tested new battle fighting concepted with real-time pictures of the battle zone provided by the centralized command using higher jets, unmanned aerial vehicles, and attack helicopters. National Large Solar Telescope (NLST) was largest solar telescope set up by Department of Science and Technology in Ladakh. It aims to study the sun's microscopic structure. RISAT-1 is India's first radar imaging satellite. It can scan the Earth's surface during both day and night under all weather conditions. It will help in paddy monitoring and management of natural disaster like flood and cyclone. Next, ISRO's 100th mission using PSLV C-21 rocket. ISRO launched two foreign satellites, Spot 6. French satellite Praetors, Japanese microsatellite from Satish Dhawan Space Center, Sriharikota in Andhra Pradesh. Next, we have Project Glass, a research of and development program by Google. It resembles a pair of normal eyeglasses where the lens is replaced by the heads up display. Project Glass is a wearable computer that provides information and not through a screen but rather through your eyes. It gives you data about your feelings, your surroundings without the need to wipe out your smartphone and know what to search. For example, if you go into a bookstore, Google Glass will be able to provide you with an indoor map of the place and lead you to the desired book. At the last, we have Glivec. Blood cancer drug Novartis is fighting a patent case in India for this drug. Treatment of Glivec cost rupees 1,20,000 per month per patient, but Novartis maintains they give it free of cost to the needy people. Thank you.